So I'm going to do a little video and show you what I found today. It's in that bag there sitting on the table, and no, it did not come from Aldi. I did not find a set of speakers in Aldi while I was doing my shopping. What happened was while I was at work, lunchtime, I decided to go down the cafe to get something to eat. So when I've walked down the cafe, I've noticed right near the cafe there was two charity shops. So obviously I went in them to have a little mooch about and see if they had anything good. Now, I went in the first one and they didn't have much in there, but then I walked into the second one and straight away I've spotted this little set of Sony speakers. Now, I think they're very similar to the ones I've already got, so if they was priced up at quite a high price, I probably wouldn't have bought them. But when I've looked at them and seen the price, they was only priced up at a tenner. So I had to buy 'em, innit? A little set of Sony bookshelves for a tenner, that's a bargain. And they do look in really nice condition. They've got all the front covers on them and everything. There is no damage to them, well, not what I could see anyway. They look in really good condition. And the other ones that I've already got are quite a decent little set of speakers. So if these ones sound as good as them for a tenner, or that's about $13 if you live in America. So for that price, these really could be a good little find, 'cause that's really cheap, innit, for a nice little set of bookshelves. Well, as long as they work okay, I will open them up and give them a little service on my other channel before I start using them. Just make sure all the connections and that are tight in them, because the other set of Sonys that I've got, when I opened them up, all the spade connectors in them was really loose and rattly. So I will check these ones out and just tighten up all the connectors before I start using them. And I'll just apologise for the mess in here today, because that there is a Rogers Ravenbrook amplifier, or what's left of it, because I started stripping that down yesterday and doing a video on it for my other channel. But as you can see there, with all that stuff over it, it's got quite a few problems, I think, that Rogers. So the rest of it's there, look, sitting there, all them bits. So my poor little Rogers Ravenbrook is looking rather sorry for itself at the minute. Whereas my £10 bargain Sonys are not looking sorry for themselves. They look quite nice. Wait till you see them. These things look in really good condition. And I do think they are the same as my other ones, apart from the other ones have got a Kevlar driver in them and these ones haven't. So I'm not sure if the ones I already have are a slightly better version of this speaker. I don't know on that. We'll have to do a bit of testing on the channel and see which set of Sonys actually sound better. Because you never know, these ones might actually sound better than the ones I've already got. And as I've now got 4 of these Sony bookshelves, I'll be able to put one set on top of the other set and run all 4 of them together off of one amplifier in the old stack configuration. And sometimes when you stack little bookshelves like this, they can sound really good. So it'd be interesting to see how these little Sony bookshelves work when you stack them. So as you can see there, they got that little bargain £10 price tag, and the moment I saw that, I just picked them up and bought them. I had to for a tenner, innit? Just look how nice condition they are. They really are. All the sides and everything, they're lovely, these things. There's not a mark on them. As you can see there, they're Sony CP555S. And they are 6 ohm speakers. Now, I think my other ones I've got are 4 ohms. Thinking about it, I'll have to look at that in a minute. I'll get one of the other ones down in a minute. I'm sure the other ones I've got a 4 ohm, whereas these are a 6 ohm. And if we look at this one, look how lovely condition that is. No chips, no damage. They're lovely, these Sonys. Really are top condition. Now I know they're not going to be the world's greatest speakers. They are not super high-end bookshelves. But for a tenner, I bet most of you watching this, you would have bought these for a tenner, innit? Well, definitely those of you who are a bit of a bargain hunter and have got a little bit of a hi-fi collection and like playing around with different speakers and amplifiers and that, those of you like that, I bet you would have bought these for a tenner. Well, unless you are a hi-fi snob, because the hi-fi snob wouldn't have bought these, would they? They would have turned their nose right up at these Sonys. Even if these Sonys was marked up at 50p, the hi-fi snob would not have bought them. But for the rest of ya, if you'd walked in that shop and seen these lovely condition Sony bookshelves for a tenner, I bet you would have bought 'em, just to take home, have a little listen to and have a bit of a play around with. You can see there the grills have got all their clips on them and they're in lovely condition, them grills. Got all their clips, no cracks, no damage, no nothing. And just look at them now. I've taken the fronts off. They got a nice pair of black drivers in them, big port out the front. Yeah, these Sonys are a nice looking little set of bookshelf speakers. So let me get my tape measure and we'll see how big they are. So they're about 11 inches high. So let's see how wide they are. Right, they are about 7 inches wide. Yeah, that's about 7 inches. So let's measure the port and see how big that is. So that port is about 40mm, that port. So let's see how deep they are. So they are about 9.5 inches deep. So they got a nice bit of depth to them, these Sonys. So let's see how big that driver is. So that is, right, that's a 5-inch driver in there. And you know what, that driver, that's bigger than the driver in my other Sonys. I'll grab one of them in a second and check that out, because I swear these ones have got a bigger driver in them. So the tweeter, that's about 25mm or 1 inch, that tweeter. And I do think that the driver in these is definitely bigger than the driver in my other ones. And I'm looking at one of my other ones now, because they're just standing up there. And the actual speaker looks bigger. I thought they was exactly the same, these speakers, just one had a Kevlar driver and these ones didn't. But looking at my other ones now, they are not as big as these ones. Let me grab it down and I'll show you. There's not much in it, but they definitely look smaller and the driver definitely looks smaller. Can see there, look, they're skinnier. They're the same depth, but they are definitely skinnier than these Sonys. Oh, so these ones are bigger than the old ones then. Not by much, but they definitely are bigger. Let's make a bit of space and I'll put it in the middle. There you go, look, they're quite a bit taller. That tweeter looks bigger as well. That tweeter's much bigger in them ones I've got today. They're the same depth, look. That cabinet is exactly the same in depth. But them ones I've got today are a bit taller. They are a little bit wider. And that driver and that tweeter are definitely bigger. So the ones I've got today, they are like monster floor standers compared to these little ones. So them little ones, that was 9.5 inches tall. So how big were these ones again? Just under 11. So they're about 1.5 inches taller. See that one there, that's like a 4.5 inch driver in there, whereas in the new Monster floor standards, that is a 5 inch driver in there. So let's see how wide the cabinets are. So on the old ones, that is 6 inches wide. On the new Monsters, that is 7 inches wide. So they're an inch wider, these speakers. So they are not the same speakers, really. They are very similar, but not the same. But today, in the shop when I found these, I did think they was exactly the same speaker. They just had a different driver in them. But they're not. They are much bigger, so they are a different set of speakers, really. So that's good. And so I haven't got two sets of Sony speakers the same. I've got two sets of Sony speakers that are very similar. So let's see how big the tweeter is. Right, on them ones, that's about 25mm or 1 inch, that tweeter on there. Let's see what it is on this. See, that's about 30mm. It is bigger, that tweeter. If you do the outside of the tweeter, look, that is about 3.5 inches, that tweeter, whereas that one is less than 3. So the tweeter's much bigger as well. So although it looks the same, it is not. The tweeter in the new ones is much bigger. So the new Monster floor standards might even sound better than the old ones. And them old ones have got quite a decent sound to them. So these new ones could sound really good. Well, let's not get carried away. I do know that these are not a high-end set of speakers, but they could have a really good sound to them for the money. Because let's not forget, these was only a tenner. So you can see there, them ones, CP555S, and these ones are SSCPX1. And that is right, these ones are 4 ohms, and them other ones are 6 ohms. So they are very different, these speakers, and them new ones might even have a crossover in them, because I was disappointed in them original ones I had. When I took them apart and I found out all they've got in them is one little capacitor stopping the low frequencies going to the tweeter. So they have got the most basic crossover that you can ever make inside them. So these new ones might be the same as that, I don't know yet, but they could even have a crossover in them, because they are bigger. I shall find that out when I open them up, because they might have a crossover in them. So the Monsters that I got today might be a little bit more refined than the little ones. But saying that, although them little ones have only got one capacitor in them, on the right little amplifier or receiver, them little ones I've got, they are a decent sounding speaker. So the ones I've got today, the Monster floor standards, just might sound even better. So it'd be good to do a bit of testing with these two, see what comes out on top, see what set of these Sonys is better. And you never know, the bigger ones that I got today might even work well on the Pioneer SX434, because the little ones didn't. When I put them little Sonys on the little vintage Pioneer 434, I really could not get a good sound out of them. So these bigger ones might even work on that receiver. I did do a video where I had these little Sonys running on a Sansui 310 receiver, and on that little Sansui, these little Sonys were pretty impressive. I really was getting a decent sound out of them for a little cheap set of speakers. So hopefully these bigger ones will sound just as good, if not even better, on that little Sansui, and with a bit of luck they'll sound decent on a lot of my other amplifiers and receivers. And now I've realised that these ones are bigger than the ones I've already had. I do think they was a better find than what I originally thought. So it just goes to show you it is still worth hunting round your charity shops and that in your town. Or if you live in America, a charity shop is like a thrift store or a goodwill shop. So it is worth going hunting in them because you never know what you're going to find. And alright, you are not going to find a lovely vintage Sansui receiver or a really nice old Pioneer. Them days are over. You're not going to find nothing like that anymore unless you are extremely lucky. But I haven't found nothing like that for years. So them days are over. But you still can find stuff like these little Sony speakers and other little speakers and that. So it is worth going in them and having a good hunt about. Because you never know, you might find a nice little set of Sony speakers like this for a tenner, or you never know, you just might get really lucky and find something really, really good. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.